Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be diving into a cue I wrote for the award-winning series Fragment Oblivion. The cue we're going to look at is at the climax of the entire first season, and it is also the capstone of a particular character's story arc. So without further ado, let's dive into the cue. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the beginning of the cue, which is this piano right here. So right off the bat, this cue starts with a little bit of uncertainty because the chord that's used has a suspension in it, and so the first notes of the cue you hear in this scene are uncertain, and then you have this pulsing bass underneath, which I made with my MS-20 right here, which is a wonderful synth, produces a lot of awesome bass sounds, and so that's the rhythm underneath the piano. So that flute line right there is the theme of a character that we're going to call Joni. And Joni and Jimmy have had a burgeoning romantic relationship happening. And so, they've started to like each other. And so when you have this statement of Joni's theme in the woodwinds, what ends up happening is she's trying to decide whether to go back and get him or not. And so the theme helps us get into her head. And then here in the cellos, we have a statement of Jimmy's theme as he's making his decision of whether or not to stay and save his friends or to compromise and join the enemy but have a comfortable life. So right there, that swell when the French horn comes in, that's the moment he makes his decision. So this very heroic feeling comes in, but these suspensions in there kind of make it a little bit sad because he's gonna be left behind. And so that's where his character is solidified. And then this big build that feels very desperate is people trying to keep Joni from running back and getting him. So it's a very emotional scene here. And it's moments like this where I love film scoring, and I love the use of thematic material to tell stories. And so it's a really powerful storytelling technique to use multiple themes at once. That's something I did a lot in the action music for this series to put forward characters fighting each other. And then here, it's showing their relationship being broken apart. And then what happens is the scene cuts from Joni trying to get Jimmy to Jimmy kind of standing there confident in the rightness of his choice. And so it pulls way back here. So this cue was probably one of the hardest and also one of the easiest cues I've ever had to write. And I know that sounds a little weird, but it's because on one hand, I knew exactly where the music needed to go. It was very evident, the structure of the music. I got episodes 5 and 6 at the same time, and I started this cue before I started a cue on episode 5, because this cue is this scene is the payoff of the whole series. And so I knew the music had to be spot on. And that's why it was hard, was because even though I knew exactly the structure, it had to be so dialed in that it just took a ton of small changes, a ton of tiny iterations to really nail the feeling of the scene. And what I was really happy with for this one is by intertwining the different themes in this cue, you really get a big emotional punch for the scene. So the entire soundtrack for the Fragment series is now up on streaming services. It's on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music if you use that, YouTube Music, it's everywhere. So if you want to listen to the full score, including this track, you can find it in those places, and I've linked them in the description below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.